While Americans are divided over banning assault weapons, a new poll shows they agree that more needs to be done to stop gun violence. 77% say Congress is not doing enough to prevent mass shootings in the U.S., and 62% say President Trump is not doing enough. Margaret Brennan is at the White House. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Well, Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says here at the White House, officials will take the next 2 weeks to meet with students, educators, law enforcement, and governors to discuss what can be done. President Trump has said no student or teacher should be in danger in an American school.
Shame on you!
Dozens of high school students called for action on gun control, even posing as corpses outside the White House. 16-year-old Whitney Bowen said words of comfort from the president fell short.
Something needs to change, and politicians have the power to make that change.
It's very sad.
On Friday, the president visited Parkland school shooting victims, but ignored questions on gun control.
Your gun laws need to be changed, Mr. President.
White House officials later said he is reviewing a bill sponsored by Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas. It aims to make the federal background check system more effective by improving how federal and state governments report offenses, including criminal records that could prohibit people from buying a gun.
This scourge of school shooting after school shooting.
Connecticut Democrat Senator Chris Murphy co-sponsored the bill, but he also cautioned that no one should pretend this bill alone is an adequate response to this epidemic.
You'll keep your guns.
One gun control law that President Trump did enact was to overturn Obama-era regulation aimed at preventing mentally ill persons from buying a gun.
We're restoring the rule of law and protecting our cherished Second Amendment.
Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio argued further gun control is pointless since there are already so many guns on American streets.
That genie's out of the bottle. It's the same argument as get rid of all nuclear weapons. We could, but China's not, Russia's not.
Now, the NRA does support the Cornyn-Murphy bill, which does not expand background checks, nor does it ban any kind of weapon, which is one of the demands made by the student organizers in Parkland that you heard Adriana Diaz speak with. John, we should also mention that the administration is still reviewing whether or not to ban bump stocks. That's a device that the shooter in the Las Vegas massacre used to increase his rate of fire.
Margaret, thanks. You know, one thing about that polling is that even though people want Congress to move, there's been no change in opinion about assault weapons after this, which is what those students are calling for.